Hi. Hello, everybody. I am super excited to be doing a creator Q&A to celebrate 3K. 3K subscribers. What? I'm a little I don't know if flustered is the right word, but I'm so used to recording my audios where I have to be really, really careful about the noises that I make. I have to be careful with S sounds, and sometimes you can hear clicks. And when actually, you'll probably hear it a lot as I speak. I'll do that sometimes. And it can come across really loud on the mic. So I hope that won't be a problem for you guys. But yeah, it's kind of cool that I can just chat and not have to worry about sounds or whatever. Like just now, I heard something through the mic, but I don't have to edit it. It's really nice. So anyway, hi, thank you for being here. Thank you for 3K. What? I'm so excited for 3K. Thank you for all of the likes, the comments, for all the watching and listening that you do, because that is what feeds the algorithm, the way that you guys interact with my videos. And I'm super happy that they make you super happy, and you know, the attention that you give my work is what brings in more people. So yeah, so I couldn't have got to 3K without any of you. So thank you. Okay, I am making this, I'm literally talking to myself at the moment, making this audio because I want to premiere it as if it was alive, because I like having that live feeling. I like seeing responses in the chat. I like being there with you guys live. However, I chose not to do the live just because I want to be really careful about answering certain questions. So if my brain accidentally says something that I didn't want to say, or if I say something that maybe later on I end up changing, yeah, I just want to be able to catch myself and go back and delete that part and re-record it if I'm oh wait, they actually don't know that yet. I wrote that, but I haven't published it. I shouldn't be saying this. So my apologies for not being live. However, I'm thinking as I premiere this video, it will feel kind of like a live. But yeah, just remember, this is pre-recorded. I am in the chat, so I can respond to what you're saying, but you're not going to hear me speak the response, if that makes any sense. So anyway, let me make sure I had notes on this. Oh yeah, I did want to say, I downloaded the YouTube Studio app, so it's where you can look at all of your analytics on your phone, and there is this section that shows all of the comments that I haven't interacted with, and it just it was like an itch that needed to be scratched. So if you're listening to this and I recently went in and liked or hearted a comment that you left 2 years ago, that's because I was clearing the queue of comments that I didn't interact with. So yeah, so if I've been liking really, really old comments of yours, that's why, and I apologize for any notifications that made you go like, what? I wrote this a year ago. What is she even doing? Also, I think I hear cats outside my door, so they may join the conversation. Not sure. They're not my cats. I pet sit. I'm pet sitting currently. But anyway, okay. Let's get to the questions. These are, let's see, I have them pulled up. I don't know what order these are in, to be honest. We're just going to go newest. I want to do them in order that they were written, but I am going to start with the newest one just because I've already sort of touched on it a little bit. How tall are you? I liked that question, but I did want to see how tall you all thought that I was. 600 people voted on the poll. So I had a poll that was like, am I under 5 foot? Am I average, like around 5'4", or am I 6 feet at least? 600 people voted, and the majority of them said average, and you would be correct. Correct in the sense that I'm closer to average than I am really tall or really short. But I gave generic answers on purpose because I wanted to give the real answer on here, which is 5'7". And some of you actually guessed that in the comments on that poll. Some of you guessed it exactly. See, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear feedback through the microphone as I hold my phone. And normally I would have to edit that out, but now I'm just gonna say, sorry guys. Okay, let's just jump right into it. So the first question that I got is, do you plan to introduce more characters and creatures into your current series? If yes, can you give us a sneak peek? The answer is yes. Yes to both. Yes to more characters, and yes to more different types of characters, which is probably what you mean by creatures. I have specifics, but the more specific that things get, the more exclusive that information is. So like the members in my early access tier know what I'm working on, and they have already seen at least one, maybe two characters. Yeah, at least two characters. I'm trying to remember. That I'm currently working on. So they know what's coming. They know more specifics about what is coming. But I can say that there is a new character coming sooner rather than later. And I do know from previous polls that werewolves were a very popular ask, I'll say. Yes, a werewolf will come at some point in the future. Currently, if I have a werewolf idea, I put it in my notes, and my giant notes collection is just like a really big bucket of every single idea I've ever had. Werewolves are not currently being fleshed out just because the ideas that I have are still very broad and I haven't really narrowed them down yet. But when I started my channel, I knew that I was going to do a vampire series and a werewolf series and regular normal girlfriend audios, which is where my focus is shifting a little bit at the moment. Don't worry, it's not going to shift away from You're the Vampire. It's not going to shift away from Tessa and Iris. But currently, the normal human girlfriend stuff is where my focus is at present. So I hope that answers your question. This person also said, did you take any inspirations from other VA's series? Yes. And I'm actually really excited to share this. Maybe about a year before I started my channel, maybe less than a year, I found Redacted ASMR, Eric. I found his account when he was probably my size, and only had maybe like 10 videos uploaded. But I found his Flirty Vampire series, videos, audios, and it just like, I was like, this is really cool. This is really cool. That was my first exposure to roleplay ASMR. And I don't even remember how it came about. It must have come up in my like browse or recommended, because I have always liked having something in the background when I sleep. So I was always looking for like sleep meditation or affirmations to listen to while you fall asleep. So I must have come across roleplay ASMR through that. And I won't say that Redacted was my first exposure to it, but I will say Redacted ASMR was the first channel that I was like, oh, this is really cool. Because we've all heard role plays that just, they don't really like, they're not our vibe, or they're kind of off, or they're not that good. But Eric at Redacted was the first roleplay ASMR creator who turned me into a fan. And yeah, so from there it was just like, oh my god, I love creating scenarios in my head. I've always been, I've always been a writer, in the sense that I enjoy fleshing out the ideas in my head and putting them into words. I've never worked as a writer, and I've never written anything substantial that got shared or published or anything like that. But it's one of those things where you listen to something and you're like, oh, but wouldn't it be cool if, and then you take that idea and you just kind of run with it and turn it into your own thing. So that's exactly what happened when I listened to his work. So yeah, I would highly recommend his channel. If listening to a male voice is your thing, but even if it's not, he recently put out a 4 character audio where all 4 of them are talking to the listener. And I'm just like, this is talent. This is talent. So anyway, yeah. I did take I do take inspiration from other voice artists. But that is the only one that impacted me enough that I remember it off the top of my head. Everything else that I like, I would have to go into my liked videos to remember who did what and which one it was. But yeah, the inspiration definitely came from Redacted ASMR. Okay, next one. How do you feel when you are doing ASMR or after? Don't you feel awkward the first couple of minutes? The very first time I did it, yeah, it did feel awkward. And actually, it wasn't really because I was recording. It was because I lived in an apartment with really thin walls and floors and ceilings. And so I had a neighbor beside me and a neighbor above me. And I could often hear their music and their TVs. And the only time I could record was in the middle of the night, because that was when they all shut up. And because it was in the middle of the night, I had to be quiet. So it did feel awkward because of the environment that I was in. When it comes to actually recording things, No, I don't think that I've ever felt awkward. Mostly because it's stuff that I wrote. And I know what's coming, and it's not live, so I know if I screw it up, I can go back and fix it. How I feel however my characters are feeling. And so when Tessa's worried or annoyed, or if one of my girlfriend audios, she's feeling really like submissive and shy, I bring myself to that place, because you have to. If you want that to come across in the audio, in your voice, if you want to put that energy, into the computer, you have to feel it. It has to come up and out. So yeah, I feel in it. I guess I feel in flow. I guess I feel the way a painter feels when they paint. It's like, you lose track of time and all you're focused on is what exactly you're doing. So yeah, so it feels good. It feels nice. It feels rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. And after, so it feels really rewarding after, and after I get to take a really big deep breath and I'm like, yes, I got through it. Especially after it's a really difficult one, or especially after if I record something and find out I did it wrong, the whole thing is wrong, and then I have to go and record it again. The relief at the end of it, it feels really good. You also said, by the way, I love the series so far, so thank you. I'm glad you love it. Okay, next question. Why are you supposed to take ×4 when counting the area and volume on a globe? So I'm gonna kind of answer this with another question that I saw. I'm not sure where it is. We'll come up to it at some point. But I did have the question, I think, what was your least favorite subject in school? And I'm going to say math. And that's also the answer to this question. Math. You're supposed to take ×4 when counting the area and volume on a globe because math. Because math fucking sucks. I'm not good at math. It's not intuitive. I also I don't need it. Past elementary math, I don't need to know how to do math. So yeah. So that's why it was my least favorite. Okay. If we can do a script, where can we send it to you? So I have a link tree now, and one of the links in the link tree will take you to a Google form where you can either type out a request or you can upload a document if you have a script. I love hearing other people's ideas and reading their ideas. This is also a really safe space, non-judgmental. You can send me something that you think is really stupid, and I'm not going to tell you that it's stupid. So yeah, so feel free to find the link. I am probably dropping the link in the chat right now. You can find it down below in the comments or in the description. It is linktree.com/ScorpioWolfASMR. And yeah, there will be a link there for you to send me a request or to upload a script. Yeah, so you can do that. You also asked, are you planning some other vampire audios? My vampires currently are Tessa's V, which is you, the listener, and Iris. And at the moment, there are no other vampires up and coming. However, I do know that at some point I am going to have some standalone vampire audios. So not a series, but something that has the same vibes of like Iris, but the listener doesn't have to know the storyline to understand what the hell Iris is talking about. So I might throw in a standalone vampire every now and then. Okay, next one. What/who was your inspiration for creating your roleplays and audios? That was Redacted ASMR, who I spoke about a couple minutes ago. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's talented. And his work is on a level that made me think like, I could totally do this. Like, this is the vibe that I really like. This is a vibe that I could create. I could create something similar to this, with a storyline and all that stuff. So yeah. All right, here we go. Can you tell me your secrets? When I read that question, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to think of a really good secret that I can share. And I forgot to share a really good secret. Well, here's a secret, actually. It's really, really warm in here, and I'm wearing this giant, like, blanket hoodie, and it's starting to make me sweat. So there's a secret. What made you start ASMR? Again, hearing Eric's work from Redacted made me realize what was possible with roleplay audio, so that was cool. Oh, I love this question. Hold on, let me pull this thing over my head. I gotta take my earbuds out. Do you like pineapple on pizza? Let me tell you. Pineapple is my favorite fruit. It is the best tasting fruit that has ever existed on the planet. I have never tasted a fruit that tastes better than pineapple, especially when it's fresh. That's the thing, though. If it's like canned pineapple or it's kind of old pineapple, it's not good. But when it's fresh, nothing tastes better. So, yes, because pineapple is the best fruit on the planet, it can go wherever it damn well pleases. And I get pineapple, ham and pineapple pizza all the time. All the time. There was one time I ordered a ham and pineapple pizza from this guy who was clearly like on something. And we got it and there was no ham. It was just pineapple on a cheese pizza. And I was like, fuck it. It's still pineapple. You can't go wrong. And I apologize to anyone who was like, that's disgusting. I am unfollowing you. You know what? Go for it. Go for it. But I will stand by it. Pineapple belongs on pizza. If that's where it wants to be, it belongs there. Okay. Any foreshadowing lore? Nothing that I can give you outside of the audios. The closest thing I can think of, I did get a comment about Iris delivering lore. Like Iris is my verbal delivery of the lore in that storyline. And I replied to that comment and I said, there's a reason for that. But that's all that I can give you at the moment, because anything else would be a spoiler. So I hope that's good enough. How do you do your videos? So I sit down with my laptop and my little microphone and I read the scripts that I've written for myself. And after that, I go through and I edit the audio. I remove anytime I slur my words, or if there's a freaking cat, or something sounds too loud, or something doesn't sound loud enough. I edit all that. I add any sound effects or background music. And then I use a thumbnail as the video. So I use like so the thumbnail that you see, you've seen it. The thumbnail that you see when you click on a video, I use that as the video. And recently I've actually started putting other thumbnails in there to talk about the memberships and donating and a little thank you for listening at the end thing. I'm kind of bad at it because I've been in a habit of only using one. So sometimes I finalize a video and then I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot to add that. But I'm getting there. I'm working on it. So yeah, I think that answers your questions. Like, how do I create the actual video? And that's what it is. It's just a thumbnail. Okay, next. Hi, I just wanted to say that I really love your vampire series. Thank you. I love it too. I'm glad you love it. I think it's one of the best ASMR series that I could find. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I remember reading this one. I was like, oh, I'm blushing. Do you plan on adding more lore to it? I think it would be really interesting. There is... I'm glad that you say that because there is always more lore coming up in my brain, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to overwhelm them, and I don't want to confuse them, but also, this would be cool. So, yes, there is more lore. I think as the story goes on, there's gonna have to be more lore. But yes, there's more lore coming. There's a lot coming. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Okay. Next. Why doesn't a vampire die in the night since the moon reflects sunlight? We're getting into science here, which also wasn't a strong subject in school for me. But I'm just gonna say the same reason why humans don't get sunburn in the moonlight. And it's just not strong enough. That's what I'm gonna go with. But don't hold me to that. If in the future I decide that a vampire burns alive because they were subjected to moonlight, you're just gonna have to go with it, okay? But yeah, that's my answer to that one. Okay. Congrats on almost 3K. Thank you. Questions. What inspired you to become a YouTuber? Again, I heard roleplay ASMR and thought to myself, I could totally do this. Like, these are inspiring me to create my own stories and my own spin on things. Oh, and actually, that's another thought that I could voice to you guys is I listen to a lot of audios and I think this would be really cool from the other perspective. Or this would be really cool from a submissive perspective, because a lot of the role plays that are out there, the speaker is dominant, and the speaker is usually driving the storyline, which you kind of have to do because a listener isn't just going to magically know what your storyline is. But I thought, how cool would it be to reverse these? So that's sort of where the idea for Tessa came along. Is Tessa is the human. Tessa has no idea what's going on. The listener is the one who knows what's going on. But, at a certain point, it's really difficult to write a believable script when Tessa is reacting. So, if the listener were to explain to Tessa what's going on, the script would be really, really monotonous, because you, as the listener, would literally be listening to Tessa say, "What? You mean XYZ? Oh, so that means XYZ? Oh, wow." So, and so I decided to have a submissive character who is in the dark which puts my listener in the position of power. And that's how Iris was born, because Iris feeds you, the listener, all of the lore that you need in order to have a more believable interaction with Tessa, who knows nothing about your world. So it's kind of like a double dynamic. You get to be someone who knows things. You literally know things that Tessa hasn't found out yet. And I don't know. I think that's a really cool dynamic, that you can listen to one storyline and you've got this information in this vault in your mind as a listener. And it's sort of like in a movie when you see, I'm just going to go with Harry Potter's the most obvious, when you see the scenes with Voldemort and with He Who Must Not Be Named. Excuse me, sorry, I should censor myself. And you know, as the viewer, what's going on, and you're like, oh shit. But Harry still has no idea, so you get to watch Harry figure this shit out. That's kind of what I'm creating with Tessa. You get to have all of this extra juicy information that Tessa doesn't have yet. And not only do you get to like watch her figure it out and learn about it and experience it, but you are the one who is drip feeding that information to her. So yeah. I think it helps get people hype because when you learn something from Iris, it gets you hyped to see, how am I going to share this with Tessa? How is Tessa going to learn about this? I can't wait to see how she reacts. This was a very, very big tangent from what inspired you to become a YouTuber. But yeah, that's what inspired me, was hearing relatively simple role plays. And I don't mean simple like as an insult, but relatively simple, easy, standalone audios, and being like, what if I could make this experience like really complex and almost like cinematic? So that's what inspired me. And your next question was, what is your favorite thing about doing this YouTube thing? And kind of what I was just talking about, actually. It's figuring out how my characters interact with the listener. And it's also learning more about you guys and what you like and what you're excited about. And I get to play off of not only my own ideas, but also your ideas and your reactions. And it's just, it's like, I'm getting chills thinking about it, but it's really cool to put something out there and to have it like bounce back to you. And it's like, it's a new color or it's a different shape. And you're like, oh, okay, let me do this then, and throw it back at you. And then you guys are like, whoa, wait, what? And it's a really cool back and forth kind of feeling. And it's just, I hope I did a good job explaining it, because it's a really cool experience to have. So next question. What are some of your personal favorite ASMRtists and YouTubers? I'm going to say Redacted ASMR, just because he's the OG in my mind. He was like the first one to really impress me. Personally, people who I like personally, I don't know how many people enjoy listening to male voices, but YSF Audio is really, really inspiring because of his work ethic, and his audience is huge. But the deep voice is really nice. If you really need a deep male voice, YSF Audio is the way to go. Obviously, there's Afterglow. Afterglow and of course, like, now I'm on the spot. I can't think of is it Daydream? Is it I don't remember. I'm trying to think of female voices who I listen to, but it's hard because I typically listen to specific videos when I'm doing research, and I don't always pay attention to whose they are. But I do remember Afterglow. Cardlin Audio, that's another male voice. But Cardlin is also a monster in the roleplay scene, and also like his work ethic, and he's got really good scenarios as well. So yeah, I would say those are my top favorites as a listener. But I mean, I listen to everything, especially when I'm trying to learn more about a certain type of audio, or a certain type of character, or just like what's out there. What am I hate to use the word competition, but if I'm gonna put out a roommate crawls into your bed audio, I need to know I need to know what's already out there. What is your star sign? Scorpio. Yes. Scorpio is my star sign. I decided to go with that for my name. So yeah. I was born in November. Okay. What is your mother's What is your mother's maiden name? The name of your first pet, your social security number. And my response to this was like, look, I'll just give you my password, okay? It'll just make it easier for all of us. Are you a big vampire fan? And if so, what made you get into them? All right. I got into vampires when I watched... It must have been Vampire Diaries. Because... So, I never read Twilight when it came out. I don't even know how old I was when Twilight came out. But Twilight was my first vampire series that I was ever, like, exposed to. That was the first vampire thing that I, like, actually consumed. And I didn't like it. I didn't like Twilight, but I really liked Jacob the werewolf. So I didn't become a vampire fan with Twilight. I became aware of vampire romance through Twilight. And that is why I gave Vampire Diaries a chance, because people who were like, oh my god, I hate Twilight, but I like True Blood and I like Vampire Diaries. I was like, okay, I'll give Vampire Diaries a chance. And that was where I got into the vampire romance thing, and the dynamics and the drama. And yeah, I had been watching Desperate Housewives. Again, my timeline on this might be weird, but I remember thinking, like, this is like Desperate Housewives if everyone was a vampire. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I started to watch True Blood and I couldn't get into it for some reason. Maybe it's just what I was dealing with in my life at that point. I'm not sure. I don't know what I was dealing with in my life at that point, but there are times where I start watching something and I'm like, I can't be bothered with this. So yes, so I will say Vampire Diaries is what got me into the vampire genre. Definitely. Congrats on 3K subs. Thank you. Fully deserved. Oh, so sweet. You are a breath of fresh air to the ASMR community. Oh, my twists on listening experience. Oh, I'm like, I'm struggling reading these out loud because they're so sweet and they make me all squishy. Okay, after the listener is a vampire or as a side project, have you thought about branching into other areas like assassin or werewolf? Oh, sorry, I just cracked my knuckles. I hope that doesn't like I hope that's not nails on a chalkboard to anybody. I've sort of halfway answered this question. Yes, and probably as a side project because I don't see Tessa ending anytime soon. So everything that I do will be a side project to Tessa. So yeah, no worries about that. I also think like I have so many ideas. It would be unfair to wait until Tessa is over to do all the other ideas that I have. There has to be balance. But yeah, that's how much Tessa I have in me. Is that I'm like, this isn't going to be over for a really long time, so I'm going to have to put out other things as well. But yes, I do have ideas for werewolves, and I do have ideas for assassin type stuff. So yes, those things will come at some point. But like I said, my early access people, they know what it is I'm currently writing and recording. And there aren't any assassin werewolves on that yet. But every month I give members a like a rundown basically of all my works in progress. So if you're interested in knowing what's coming up, then yeah, look into joining the early access membership tier. Shameless self-promo. Okay. What chocolate is better? Milk, white, or dark chocolate? Dark chocolate is better. And this opinion was really solidified when I went to the UK because the chocolate there is better. It's just better. However, it's creamier. It is much creamier than American chocolate. And I don't like that. I don't like milk chocolate because it's too creamy. It's like, it's almost sickly. Like, it makes my tummy feel funny. I like dark chocolate, like 75 to 85%. I can eat like 90 to 95% dark chocolate, but it's just like, it's not as enjoyable. So 75 to 85% dark chocolate is where it's at, especially if you've got like some sea salt in there or some almond. It's like something crunchy. Oh. Or like super dark chocolate ice cream. I know ice cream is like creamy and you're like, what? I don't. But I call it ice cream. It's actually technically a gelato that's like super dark chocolate and it's so good. So good. So yes, I have a very decided opinion about chocolate and dark all the way 100%, 1000%. Here's that question. Hardest subject in high school. Math. math. Hated that. I hated it. Especially high school math. Math was great in elementary school, but when you start to get to middle school and high school, you're like, why? I don't care. I don't need to know how long the shadow of that building is. I don't. Let's move on. Okay. I've noticed a lot of ASMRtists are getting VTuber models. Do you plan on following that trend as well? If so, which character would you have your model be? I have looked into VTuber and that shit is so over my head. It's not even funny. I get overwhelmed really easily with software and like learning new software, new stuff on the computer. It has to be really intuitive. The user experience has to be like stupid simple in order for me to pick it up quickly. If it's not, I'm just like, my brain just shuts down. It just looks at it and it's like, no, we're not doing this. So if I were to do VTuber, I would hire someone to do it for me. And that's just not in the cards right now. Which character? I don't even know. I don't even know. I would have to see some options to know which one I would want to do. I would probably have really cool colored hair, like unnatural colored hair. Maybe it would be a chill aesthetic. Like she'd probably wear a hoodie and like maybe some earrings. Nothing super cosplay or super like girly. Something that's really like we're just gonna hang out and game all night kind of vibes. Something really chill and simple, but also like cute and unique. That's like a really vague answer to your question, but that's all I got. And I have thought about VTube, but I don't want people to get excited about it because I don't see it becoming a thing. It's something that I've looked into and it doesn't feel like my kind of thing. Anything is possible, but that is not something that I am pursuing at the moment. So I'm just gonna put that disclaimer out there in case anyone like got really excited for a second. Okay. 3,000 people subscribing to your channel. I feel it should be a lot higher. Thank you. Oh, no question on that one. That's okay though. Compliments are always welcome as well. Let's hope 10K end of year. That would be amazing. Oh, it looks like that's the end of them. Okay, because it ended with how tall are you? Awesome. So, yeah, there's my creator Q&A, you guys. And it looks like I'm at coming up on 50 minutes. Oh, that's good because I was like, I don't want this to be more than an hour. So I'm like, okay, don't ramble. Ramble a little bit, but not for too long. So, yeah, I didn't even really think of like how I'm gonna end this. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say thank you again to everybody, to all of you for being here, for being so supportive, for giving me feedback, for giving me ideas. Yeah, for smashing all the buttons whenever I post something. I couldn't do this without you guys. I mean, I could, but like it wouldn't grow and it wouldn't eventually, pay my rent. It would just be me continuing to talk to myself and putting it on the internet. So, yeah, you guys are amazing. I'll just do like a couple of housekeeping things. If you are interested in anything that I have to offer in terms of supporting your artist, I've got memberships on YouTube, which I should say I used to have a Patreon for anyone who's a super early subscriber, but balancing, like I said, I get overwhelmed really easily with technology. Balancing the two platforms got really overwhelming to the point that it was hindering my ability to get shit done. So as of right now, YouTube memberships, it's just easier. Everything is in one place. I don't have to like keep up with a million different things. There is a tier for $2.99 that unlocks the Tessa emojis. It unlocks little custom emojis that you can use, and you get like a little star loyalty badge next to your name. It changes every month that you're a subscriber, or not a subscriber, sorry, a member. And I have like member only updates every now and then. You'll see like a sneak peek, or eventually I'll do member only polls. Right now I don't have that many members, so in order to get a very round collection of opinion, I'm still posting my polls publicly. But as time goes on and I get a bigger pool of members, there will be a lot more members only polls. So the $2.99 is that you get the little perks of the emoji, the loyalty badge. You'll get priority reply comments from me. So anytime you leave a comment, unless it's just like one word or one little emoji, but even then, I'm gonna reply no matter what. And sneak peeks, little teasers here and there that the public doesn't get to see. And then the early access tier, which is like the ultimate, that's the ultimate tier. You get at least 24-hour access to all of my roleplay videos. There have been a couple times where I've wanted to post something 2 days before I make it public. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm just saying, like, 24 to 48 hour early access is a pretty good, that's a cool perk. There's also, you get more sneak peeks on the early access tier because you get a monthly roundup of everything. I list out everything that I'm currently writing or workshopping, and so you'll know what's coming up. You'll get this is actually a new perk that I've started doing, or that I've added and will start doing, is photo updates. So I should say visual updates. You'll see things like more screenshots. You'll see more design. So I'm planning on updating my logo soon. Early access members will be able to see that before anybody else does, before I actually upload it. So early access is also a fun membership thing to join as well. If you want to donate, if you're like, I have way too many subscriptions, girl, just tell me where I can send you like $5 and I'm good. There's also in my link tree, I'm going to post that again in the chat probably, is a donate button. It's just a one time, you pick, it's set at $5 just because I had to pick something, but you pick the amount and you can send it. It's a one time thing. That is something that is super, super, super appreciated. And as far as any kind of support off of YouTube, because yes, YouTube does take a very, very large cut, it is in the works. It is something that I am working on, but ultimately, when it comes to providing perks for members, it has to be something sustainable. And at the moment, what I'm doing right now is sustainable, and I don't want to add on more than what I can actually do every single month. So for right now, memberships are only on YouTube. And that's why the donate button exists, because I know a lot of listeners aren't a fan of the giant cut that YouTube takes, so they want their money to go directly to the artist. So that's why the donate option is there, because that money does go directly to me. And that's it. That's all that I have for you at the moment. I need to get up because my ass is really sore from sitting here on this really uncomfortable, like, it's not a chair, it's a stool kind of situation. I usually don't record for this long. So yeah, I'm gonna stand up and go eat food and just be super excited about 3K. But yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And you know what? You're the best. And I will speak to you soon. Bye.